Hi, my name is Christian, and today I am going to show you how to make a thinset blade hammer drill attachment. With a lot of research and trying to find out how to take thinset off and mortar off and glue from vinyl flooring or whatever the case may be to get off concrete. I haven't really been able to find anything with the exception of go to a rental place and spend $100 for one day of use on a hammer drill and a thinset blade attachment. So I have a hammer drill and I looked up, okay, let's see if I can buy one of these thinset blades, and they range anywhere between $250 to $500 plus, which for most of us to just do a do-it-yourself project is a little out of the question. It's a little too much. I'm going to say a lot too much. So basically, looking around the stuff that I had at my house and what I could do and, trying to find one cheaper, it was just impossible. So I came up with an idea on something that probably isn't going to be good for a contractor or someone that's doing this every single day, but for the do-it-yourselfer and at home, you should have no problem getting a small room or even a living room, bedroom, whatever the case may be. If you're pulling up the floor and you want to get it nice and smooth. I'm actually trying to get my floor nice and smooth. I want to stain my concrete. I am a do-it-yourselfer. I'm not a contractor. I'm just figuring this stuff out as I go and looking stuff up on the internet and stuff like that. And I couldn't find anything on any real useful information on how to pull up thinset, with the exception of, chiseling it by hand or, whatever the case may be. It just wasn't working out for me. It was just taking too long. It was too much work, or it was too much dust, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to go over, with the exception of the cost of a hammer drill, which I'll go over with you. This should only cost about, 20-30 bucks. Depending on what you have around you, if you have a Harbor Freight or if you have to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, which are a little bit more expensive. And Harbor Freight usually has some pretty hard to get items or interesting things that you can kind of play with and build your own tools or do whatever you want with. So we'll go over that, and I hope it helps you out. Alright, so basically we're going to go over what we're trying to remove, basically what I've tried, and how to build the thinset floor scraper. So this is what I'm trying to remove here. You can see I've been trying to chisel away at it with different things. It didn't really work out. And then I also have a little bit of linoleum here. The glue to get up. We all know how hard that is to get up. Sitting there on the floor. Trying to scrape it up with whatever we have. I just like to start with protection, respirators, masks. You're probably going to need hearing protection for using the hammer drill. It's pretty loud. And then eye protection, obviously, for chips flying up and stuff like that. So basically things that I've tried. This little guy here with a little scraper attachment. Very slow, kicks around a lot, it's kind of worthless. I've tried little chisels, hammers, scraper blade, masonry blade. Kind of digs into the concrete a little bit, and it's kind of slow. I don't want to dig into the concrete at all because I'm looking to stain my floor, so I couldn't use that. Then I tried this for some of the glue stuff. It took it down alright, just kind of really slow. I'm kind of using it for like thin spots like that. Just a little bit faster. And then this diamond blade that I got from Harbor Freight for 10 bucks. It works okay. I'm probably going to use it to get into some really tight areas that I can't reach with the floor scraper. But yeah. And then this thing is one of the attachments that came with the hammer drill. It's kind of thick and heavy. If you don't have the absolute perfect angle, you're going to dig into the concrete, and like I said before, I don't want to do that. and it's hard to catch an edge and get it out. So I've tried things like, 60 grit sandpaper on a sander, and like all this stuff works, but it's real slow. And then the diamond blade concrete attachment. These things are really expensive. At Harbor Freight, they're like 40 bucks. I ended up buying, a DeWalt one, $60. It works good if you keep it perfectly flat. Digs into the concrete a little bit though, so I wanted to try and stay away from that, except for like some high spots and stuff like that. So basically, what you're going to need is you're going to need a pretty heavy-duty hammer, which we all kind of have around the house probably, an angle grinder or a cutter of some sort to cut metal. These are pretty cheap if you don't have one, or you can use like a Sawzall or maybe a jigsaw with a metal blade, pretty much anything to cut a pipe. So basically what we have here is we have our floor scraper. It's a handheld floor scraper that you can get at Harbor Freight for I think they're 10 bucks, and the blades, the replaceable blades, are $3 a piece. Not too bad at all. So you're looking at, it comes with one blade. I would grab an extra one just in case, depending on how big your job is. And then you're going to need a hammer drill. So I got this hammer drill. This is a really expensive one that I borrowed from a friend. It's like 400 bucks for this one probably. But you don't need a really expensive one like this. You can get one at Harbor Freight or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever hardware store that you have. Probably for under $100. I've seen some at Harbor Freight for like 50. They'll probably work. It just depends on how big of a job. I borrowed this one because my job is pretty big, so I wanted to have the extra power. And then usually they come with it is some drill bits. Harbor Freight, these are very cheap, like $5 or something like that. You're going to need one that's a 3/4 inch, and it'll say it. This isn't a 3/4 inch, but I'm using it for display purposes. So basically, when you have your floor scraper, you're going to take this and you're going to line it up to almost the end. You want to kind of stay a little bit away from the end because you don't want the hammering to vibrate this and it'll actually push this off. And that actually happened to me. So basically you're going to cut it with a little bit of play. It doesn't matter if it's here or here. You just don't want to be like up in this area, because if this pipe touches here, your hammering won't happen. And if you've ever worked with a hammer drill, you know what I'm talking about. So you want to stay a little bit past so you have a little bit of play. And basically once you cut it with whatever you're cutting it with, you're going to take your drill attachment and you're going to have these little nubs on the side here. And you want these little nubs to be basically a little bit bigger than the pipe. And then for this one, the 3/4 inch one worked perfect. And then you want to take it and put the blade on a soft surface and kind of tap it in there until you get down, almost all the way, probably right about here. It's really not that important. You just want to get a good amount in there for support. And then basically what I had originally thought I could do was drill through this whole thing with a couple of holes, but then I thought about it, and these are very, very hard steel. I mean, they're meant to drill through concrete and stuff like that. So drilling through this is next to impossible unless you have like a really hardcore drill press or whatever the case may be. So what I did was I took the big dog here, the big hammer, and I put it on some concrete outside, and I just whacked the hell out of it until it set into the grooves, into the drill bit. And then obviously this drill bit's never going to be used again for anything else. So just keep that in mind. You want to go to Harbor Freight and get a cheap one. so you don't have to worry about that. So, and then basically, this is going to go onto your hammer drill, and then in my next segment, I'm going to show you how I use it and how well it works. Alright, so again, for everybody that's sitting there pulling their hair out like I was, this stuff being very, very hard to remove. I got our setup here to kind of show you how I go through it. First thing is I got my scraper set level. I'm set to hammer. I got some gloves on. I got my eyeglasses on for protection. Respirator in closed areas is always a good idea. So you want to go ahead, take your thinset blade, set it on the ground, put a little bit of weight into it, a little bit of an angle. Now, as you can see, that worked pretty well. A little faster in open areas, not up against the wall. You probably get done a little quicker. You can see I had a little bit of glue under that, which made it a lot more difficult to pull up. I'm not really sure what that is or what this is, but you get a really good idea of it. Now, as you saw, I started at a little bit higher, and then as I caught an edge, I kind of brought it down, and that'll make it a little smoother of an operation, a little bit faster to get through it. And basically when you're done, you just clean up and you're good.